And we're back with a very abridged tutorial on Manor Lords, and this here is a city design that is very, very powerful. For one thing, it does not matter what starting resources you have, we're not going to use them. Two, it will provide you with 100 families by about October of the 5th year. Every single one of those can be turned into a militia that are equipped with mail, helmets, and whatever weapons you would prefer, allowing you to do whatever stompage you would like on the enemy lord. It works off 5 foods, namely 2 double burgage plots of apples, 2 double burgage plots of veggies. We've also got berries set up over here. This can be completely harvested with 2 forager huts and 1 granary with 1 person working in each. And then we have eggs all throughout all of these burgage plots except for 2 breweries, a cobbler's, and a joiner's. So basically all but 4 of these houses have eggs. We also have 8 apiaries over here and 8 apiaries over there, but they're put in at the very end just to put you over the top. This gives you 4 main stable foods and a 5th one thrown in at the end to make sure you never have any problems. But one of the key features of this is how you spend your development points, namely getting your hands on better deals and charcoal. Charcoal is one of those really powerful items right now where 1 charcoal sells for 5 gold coins. You basically mass produce the charcoal, and over the entire game we've exported 2,648 to result in about 10 grand of income. This allows you to import all of the weapons and armor you would prefer to equip yourself, and it also allows you to import all of the malt you're going to require for keeping your people ailed. Over here we have 1 sheep farm with 60 sheep in it, because 1 sheep farmer can maintain 60 sheep, and 3 weavers can completely take care of all of the wool that is produced and converted into yarn, which is then sold in the trade department, which results in another nice income to make sure you can afford all the weapons and malt you need. The design is 105 pasture lengths wide and 91 pasture lengths long. This is what the entire village would look like in terms of corpse pits. At the very rear here you have 2x6 corpse pits. This is where your double purgage plots would go with orchard, veggies. These 2x2 corpse pits here are where all your infrastructure goes, your churches, your taverns, your trading and all that stuff. And then down here, these 1x2 corpse pits, all of these are your singleton burgage plots that go in to fill in the rest of your population and give you all of your chicken coops. Oh, please ignore these areas back here. They're too steep for building on, which is why they don't have corpse pits in them. Still will work for extensions, funnily enough, though. To build this out quickly and efficiently, 6 level 1 burgage plots in the first month, granary, storehouse, logging camp, and extra hitching post. Basically your standard start. For the second month, get in 2 forager huts, 1 person apiece, 1 granary, 1 person in there as well. Once they're up and running, move on to getting yourself a trading post and sell all berries above 120 to make some money. Extend out your housing so that you have 3 more plots along here. Jumping forward a bit, after you have put in 9 level 1 burgage plots, ignore these 3 over here, you will put in your 2 vegetable plots. The 2 vegetable plots should go in first, so they become occupied first, after the first 9 go in over here. Then once those are complete, you then put in your burgage plots for the orchards, and you make sure to purchase the vegetables and the orchards with all the money you make from selling your excess berries. Remember, only keep 120 berries for your first year. Use all of that money to install chicken coops in all but the central 2 burgage plots you own. You then will use your labour force to rush stone and clay. You're going to use this stone and clay to build yourself a small stone church, as in a level 2 church. Rushing the level 2 church is key so that you can improve your mood to get more villagers joining you. You need to get up to 2 villagers joining you a month, preferably as quickly as possible. Clay furnace is to make tiles. At this point, we have installed the trading post, the small tavern, granary, 2 large storehouses, and we've even got our saw pits back here. But as you'll notice, the village is already starting to take on its familiar shape. By June year 2, these 2 burgage plots have been upgraded to level 2 because these will be getting turned into a cobbler and brewery respectively. These 2 plots have been upgraded to level 2 because we want to get those up to level 3 as quickly as possible. And this one has also been upgraded to level 2. The orchards are slightly more long finger. At the same time, a development point has been spent on orchardry, charcoal burning, and then trade logistics. Charcoal is just starting to be sold and has not actually started bringing in money just yet. But as you can see, the core is just pretty much there already. At the same time, you will keep expanding out your logging camp, pushing forward and deforesting pretty much everywhere around you to provide you with the wood necessary to continue your expansion. 1 market stall is set up here, and that will take care of all of the local storehouses and granary. And there is 1 tiny marketplace set up over here so that this granary over here can provide berries to everyone. Regardless of how rich or poor your animals are, 1 hunting camp, 1 tannery, bounce a person back and forth as you need them. By the end of September, year 2, burgage plots level 3 for both of your veggies. You can also get them for your orchards, but again, no real rush on these. Upgrade large storehouse, large granary, large storehouse. 1 charcoal kiln. I usually pulse where we work the Woodcutter's Lodge for a while until we have a stockpile of firewood. Then we convert the firewood, which is stored in this large storehouse. This large storehouse will store the firewood and the charcoal. It will also store the clay that is going to get sent to the clay furnace. And it's also going to store the wool that will come from your sheep farm. Around this time, you're going to start trading in sheep, and you're going to get up to about 60 at the end. You will buy them in bunches. Your trading post will be stocked with 4 people and 2 horses. Make sure you get horses. In fact, your first purchase at the start of the game will be an ox. Your second purchase will be a horse to increase your trade capacity. By March, year 3, you're going to start upgrading all your burgage plots to level 2. There is no rush on this. Honestly, at this point, you're basically just coasting along. So long as you've purchased yourself 36 crossbows to make a squad of crossbow militia, you're usually fairly well defended and don't have to worry about many things. The only reason to upgrade these to level 2 is because at some point you're going to upgrade them to level 3. The level 2 only gives you 1 extra gold per family, and considering you only have a limited number of families, you're gaining far more gold from the amount of charcoal you're selling, and the berries. By the end of December in year 3, you're going to want to fill out all of the houses. You don't want to upgrade them all to level 3. You've only upgraded enough houses to level 3 to obtain 4 points. The only reason you wanted the 4 points anyway was orchardry, charcoal burning, trade logistics, and better deals. You rush those, but once you've got those 4, you don't care about the rest. What you really want to do is fill up all the houses and make sure every single house has a chicken coop, all of them. Your main feeders early on are going to be the berries you pull in from over here, which give you about 440 berries a year. You'll sell all but 360 of them by year 3. Then you're also going to have eggs, which are going to make up a huge chunk of your food supply, and then a mix of veggies and apples. So the apples will be rather weak, unfortunately. The vegetables will become stronger. But the apples and a little bit of meat from your wild animal patch should keep your level 3 houses happy until it's time to go honey. But once every single one of the houses are filled, you'll notice there's a gap of 3 houses here and here. That's expected. We're just trying to hold 100 families. Once all the houses are occupied, you're going to start upgrading them to burgage plots level 3. This doubles their capacity so they can hold twice as many families. The reason we fill them all first is, again, chicken coops. Vitally important. They give you lots of food and a little bit of money on top of that. Definitely invest. It's also the reason why this village is so compact, is so that the local granaries can obtain the resources. When your single granary is unable to keep up with the demand for food, and this is not able to top up enough, what you want to do is build a second granary and start tapping those in as well. You only need about 9 people in the granary and 9 people in the storehouse, maybe 10, to keep all of the villagers satisfied all the way to the end of the game. A couple of things to note. Don't upgrade your cobblers till last. You don't need 2 cobblers. You only need 1. It's probably still a waste. 2, when it comes to the breweries, you're going to need 1 family for working a brewery for every 25 families you have. So normally you'll put in 1 brewery until you go over the 25 family mark. Then you're going to make a second brewery. And then once you go above the 50 family mark, you're going to upgrade one of the breweries to a level 3, so a second family can move in. And then the same when you hit about 75. It's actually slightly, like 1 family can handle actually about 30 maybe and change, but you still need 4 brewers in total to keep track of a village of this size. You can actually get away with only 1 person working the tavern because it is literally so close that the transport time is quite small. And always make sure you have an overstock of 4, because this is based on the number of houses, and only 46 houses are required, so keeping a stock of 50 at all time means 4 can disappear from the pantry and still everyone is getting their full entertainment bonus. When it comes to the marketplace, something similar, try and put an overstock of 3 just in case. Level 1 clothing requirements are provided entirely by yarn. The reason for this is it allows you to take all of the leather you're getting from your hunting spot, and every map has a hunting spot, and turning them into boots. So the boots provide all of your level 2 clothing requirements. This is one of the reasons we bring in the sheep. It's not just the money. Also, in case you're wondering, every single starting tile also has a stone deposit and a clay deposit. Every single one of them. So clay, stone, and animals are present on every single tile, and that is the only thing we can bank on. Well, that and berries/fish. You can place your wells wherever you want, preferably closer to the housing, and you can place them centrally if you have them in convenient locations. At this point, the apiaries have gone in. This is usually around end of year 3, somewhere around year 4, because the apples will be unable to keep up with demand. Until the apples hit year 5-ish, 5.5-ish, they don't actually sprout in enough resources. If you do not want to use the apiaries, I would advise against not using the apiaries, but if you do want to avoid them, what you can do is you can double down and put in 2 more plots of apples. That means you'll be definitely overproducing when they fully become ripe, but in the off seasons, as in the first 4 to 5 years while they're spinning up, you'll get more than enough apples to hopefully tide you over. The reason I would advise against not doing the apiaries is what else are you going to spend your points on? The only crop you're purchasing in is malt. 1 malt becomes 2 ale, so it's very cost efficient to buy it and turn it into ale, considering how low the consumption rates are now. Every family only consumes 1 ale every 3 months, which means it works out as 2 malt a year per family. That makes it very cheap to support everyone this way. Secondly, what else are you going to spend your points on? You have so much money you're able to buy helmets and armor, so you don't need to care about getting those. You still have a free point left over for deep mining if your tile has any rich deposits. There's no point going into meat or skinning because you don't need any of it. There's no point going into cropping or bread because, again, you don't need any of it. By the September of year 5, your orchards will have fully grown, at which point you will be pulling in about 550 apples on September. That is kind of ridiculous. Also, the same with the veggies, you'll be pulling in vast amounts of them also. You're going to want to start selling off a lot of your excess foods. Do be aware, while the tooltip says building more than 2 apiaries is pointless, it is not. This has been tested extensively. With 8 apiaries there and another 8 over there, we're pulling in somewhere between 600 to 700 honey per year. Honey does not expire, but also remember that honey drips in slowly, same as eggs. So what you want to do is sell them off just as you bring it in. Any eggs above 75 get sold, any honey above 100 gets sold. For berries, it's 360, namely because you want to keep enough to last you the whole year, but the stuff does degrade and spoil in storage, which is why we also keep about 360 vegetables and apples. You should have no food problems unless you go off during some of the harvest seasons. You do not need any farmland, but if you would like to save money, you can find any places that have half-decent barley sensitivity. A single minus should be enough to start bringing in a crop. You only need 200 barley to feed everyone in here on ale. At that point, just put yourself in a malt house here, or in this location over here, and that can feed into your system, and you can still leave the trading post up and running in case there's ever any glitches. When it comes to buying malt, you'll start off at a smaller number, but you're working up to holding 50 malt in storage and building 50 malt to hold in storage also. The sheep farm can be placed anywhere. Just bear in mind, the smaller the pastures, the more cost efficient it is in terms of pasturage, and make sure to put in lots of roads to make sure that the shepherd keeps coming back to the closest road to get back to the sheep farm. And that's it. By the October of the 5th year, you have effectively just a centurion of families ready to fight for you, equipped in whatever armor and equipment you want. It's the fastest, most stable way I've found to get to this point. At the same time, you'll have gobsmackingly large amounts of food. If you need to buy influence, what you can always do is go find your manor and change your taxes here. At this point, since you have all the people you need, you can crank the land taxes up incredibly high, and you can start putting on a tithe of all your food to start buying influence. At this point, it should just be a case of stomping through the enemy baron. People have advised me I'm terrible at naming things, so we could call this Box Village or Corpse Pit Village or something along those lines, but I think I just won't name it at all. It's basically a 100-person village. Like, let's just leave it at that. Or if someone comes up with a better name, I'll pin it in the comments. I recorded the creation of this village, so I'll release a couple of extended tutorials on how to make this over the next few days. But if you want, all of the information is here and you can start producing it yourself if you would like. But yes, this was my attempt at standardizing Manor Lords design to the point that you don't need to build anything else, and since it works on literally every tile. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.